My own family whispered I'd never make it alone. So when I launched my company, the company they called a fantasy, I held a gala that was the talk of the city. I just made sure they weren't on the guest list. Here's how I turned their condescending whispers into my own triumphant roar. My name is Isabelle Moreau. I am 36 years old. To my family, I've always been a disappointment, albeit a well-mannered one. The Moreaus are a dynasty of lawyers and investment bankers. They measure life in stock portfolios and square footage. My father is a judge. My older brother, Julian, a piranha on Wall Street. And me? I was the art history major, the one with potential that I was apparently wasting. For years, I tried to fit in. I worked in PR, a respectable but soulless job, bringing my creative instincts to campaigns that sold things nobody needed. I was living a beige life, tailored to their approval. But a life built on someone else's expectations is a house of cards, and it was about to come tumbling down. The wound came, as it always does, at Christmas. It's the designated time for family judgment, disguised as love. I had just quit my PR job. I'd decided, finally, to pursue my real passion, perfumery. I had been studying for years, secretly apprenticing, blending oils in my tiny apartment until my fingers were raw. At the dinner table, under the glare of the chandelier and my father's disapproval, Julian asked what my next move was. I told them I was starting my own fragrance house. Silence. Then Julian, my own brother, leaned back in his chair, a smug, pitying smile on his face. He told me that was a lovely, creative idea. He then looked around the table and announced to everyone that while my little hobby was admirable, it was time I got serious. It was time, he said, for me to give up this little fantasy and find a successful man to take care of me. He said it to the whole family. No one defended me. They just nodded, some with sympathy, some with scorn. He didn't just dismiss my dream, he dismissed my entire existence as a person capable of creating her own life. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just smiled. Because in that moment, I wasn't their little sister anymore. I was a stranger at their table, and I was done. And when I'm done, I get dangerous. I walked away from that Christmas dinner and never looked back. That night, I went home, and on a whiteboard in my apartment, I drew a blueprint, not for a business, for a new life. While my family was skiing in Aspen, I was cashing out the trust fund my grandmother had left me, the one they all assumed I'd use as a down payment on a house with a husband. While Julian was celebrating his bonus, I was on late-night calls to Grasse, the perfume capital of the world, interviewing master perfumers. While they were gossiping about my breakdown over Sunday brunch, I was trademarking a name, Aura. I wasn't just mixing scents. I was building an empire from the ground up, fueled by their condescension and my own cold fury. The war was quiet, but it was total. The first attack from my family was silence. They cut me off. The invitations to family gatherings stopped. The weekly phone calls from my mother dwindled to curt texts. They thought that by isolating me, I would come crawling back. That was their attack. My counterattack was my own silence. I didn't call. I didn't beg. I was too busy. I was working 18-hour days. My silence wasn't weakness. It was a weapon. It told them I didn't need them. The second attack was more direct. Julian heard through the grapevine that I was trying to get my product into a high-end department store. I know he made a call to a senior buyer he knew there. I know he told them his little sister was flighty, unreliable, and that her business was a vanity project that wouldn't last 6 months. He tried to poison the well. My counterattack was to go bigger. I bypassed the buyer. I sent a custom-designed discovery kit directly to the most influential beauty editor in the country. 2 months later, Aura was featured in a 2-page spread in Vogue, hailed as the haute new face of modern perfumery. The department store called me the next day. The checkmate was the launch gala for my first full collection. I didn't just rent a space. I booked the city's contemporary art museum. I didn't just invite guests. I curated a list of the most powerful people in the worlds of fashion, media, and finance. Not my family's world, my world. For months, the event was the most anticipated launch of the year. The buzz was electric. The night of the gala, the museum was transformed. The air was filled with the scent of my signature fragrance and the sound of my success. I stood on a balcony looking down at the crowd, investors, editors, celebrities, all there for me, for what I had built. And I felt a sense of peace. I had won. The final blow wasn't something I did. It was something I didn't do. My brother Julian, ever arrogant, assumed he was invited. He showed up at the door, dressed in a tuxedo, ready to walk in and survey my little project. I had given the security team a very short, very specific list. He was not on it. A polite, immovable man with an earpiece stopped him at the velvet rope. I was told he was furious that he kept repeating his name as if it were a magic word. But in my world, his name meant nothing. He was just a man who wasn't on the list. The next morning, I got a text from my mother. It was just one sentence. I imagine her typing it with trembling, indignant fingers. I can still see the text on my phone, the final, satisfying, and beautiful stinger. He told them he supported my hobby. Now he has to watch from the sidelines as that hobby becomes a dynasty. They said I'd never make it alone. They were right. I didn't do it alone. I did it with the help of every person who believed in me, and I did it on the fuel of every single person who didn't.